keep it real and stay. Flipping keys, no way. Eating good, I got a lot on my plate. But this is what I wanted, so I can't complain.
The Minority Reports Podcast, where we keep it real, estate, and entrepreneurship education for the minority of 3% action takers. Here's your host, Billy the Kid, and co-host, Dan Delgado.
Was that good? You like that?
Yeah, fresh off the plane,
Fresh off the
dude.
boat.
Off the boat. I wasn't gonna say it.
I'm ready to clown myself.
Okay, all right.
From the last episode, you clowned on me. So I got deported, guys. No.
I got him back, man. I went and I was like, I'll sponsor this guy.
He got me back.
He's contributing to the economy, so I brought him back.
No, it was awesome, man. You're like, I'm not even asking you, but it was a crazy experience. So I haven't been back to my homeland for 23 years. And so I was a 9-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid. So my uncle was like surprised that I remember so many things when we were out there. He was like, how do you remember that? But, you know, I think when you're 9, 10, you tend to remember stuff. So it was great. Our thing was family and vacation. That was like our main goal while we were out there, and saw my grandma. But getting to my actual home, like the actual hometown where I grew up in, I was telling you on the right here that you know, I can count on my hand the times that I've cried in my life, and you know, I'm a big believer you should cry. Like if you feel it, who gives a shit? Do you want to
cry right now?
Yeah, I do. You've cried on a couple episodes. I mean, it's all good. Right?
Yeah, I did. I just shed it too.
But no, it hit me, bro. As soon as I was like sweaty, my palms were sweaty, my feet, like it was crazy. And like on the way there, and once I pulled up is when I started like remembering my childhood memories and, you know, the good, the bad. And so it just hit me. And I showed you that video. I was like, I don't know if I'll release the vlog, but I think
you should. It was
good.
It was good.
And you know, I kind of talked over it like a little documentary, but that was awesome seeing family. The other part of that was, you know, thank God, like my tias, like my uncles, aunts I saw, but there was a lot of family when I visited the city or the area cemetery, you know, seeing graves that people that I grew up with, you know what I mean? Like you come back and that's how you see them. That hit me pretty hard too. I found my grandpa's grave, which was like one of the main goals as well. But yeah, I saw uncles and, you know, different graves. So that was crazy. But other than that, man, the country, dude, is amazing. Like it's just a reminder, like, you know, fake news and all that. Like it really is. Cause when we first got there, it was the city, San Salvador, and everything's modern. Like I will go as far as saying that city, and actually not just the city, there was like 2-3 cities that we visited that like actual cities that are probably more updated for sure than some of the US cities. Like I'll go as far as saying that because quick example, and I know in Cali and in Nebraska, I haven't seen this, but you go to the mall, nice, super nice malls, and they actually have lights on the garage parking lot. So you know if it's green, that's available parking, like motion sensor.
Like at the airport.
Right, exactly. Like you only see those on certain spots. And like I said, me personally in Nebraska, we don't have those. Or in Cali, I haven't seen them out there.
Yeah, I'm in the airport here.
They do?
Like recent. But
okay. So it's stuff like that, you know what I mean? And the president out there is doing awesome. Security is his main thing. And that's a whole other episode that we can tap into. But it was crazy, dude. Like being in, we got on a volcano. Like I saw an actual volcano. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, you know, we climbed it and we saw inside. As you're going down up the volcano, there's different entrances as you're going up that you can stop and eat. And all these places are beautiful. Like you see the city, like the views are, you know, it's just amazing, trees everywhere. We went to the Imagine slide, which was like, it went viral on TikTok. So the daughter actually brought it to me and she's like, hey, do you think while we're out, and actually even before we went to the trip, she's like, look, this is in El Salvador. So anyways, that was amazing. We did that, and so the slide goes down the volcano.
You know what I want to talk about though, right?
What? The food. Bro, oh my God, do you see? I put on a few pounds starting Monday. I'm gonna get back on, but bro, the food was amazing. And it's crazy because in the city, for example, it's this nice, elegant restaurants, you know, and the menu's nice, and it's like Salvadorian food. It's crazy.
It's like
yuca frita, pupusas.
All right, let's stop.
Yeah, I know. Again, hungry. Yeah, no, the food was amazing. One fruit that stuck to me was my daughter's friend that lives here actually told her, hey, while you're out there, try talpas. And we don't call it that. So when she said it, I was like, oh, hey, they have it here. It was like a random fruit stop. Yeah. So we stopped and she grabbed some, tried it. She's like, oh, they're actually good. So I was like, oh, let me try it. So I tried it, bro. And that was one thing that I'll remember was like, I didn't remember. And granted, the name she gave wasn't what we call it. We call it mamones. And it sounds funny, but mamones. But when I tried it, it brought all these like memories. I was like, holy shit. Because my grandma actually has a few trees in her, where she lives. Yeah. So yeah, no, it was beautiful, man. We're definitely going back. Now our mindset has like opened up to all these other, like we're probably gonna, I was telling you, like buy a property out there or build something out there and just take a vacation away from winter here. And we actually went on winter time over there and it rained like twice at night. So it was like beautiful. Like
so real quick, I want to get into, I was shocked at how much you weren't on social media. Like I thought this dude is gonna be on live every day. It's gonna be driving people nuts.
Puro live.
But like nothing.
Yeah. So I think it's a mixture of like my decision, but also there's this book called The Power of Now.
We just want to make that book of the week then?
It's yeah.
Is that book of the week?
No, it's not. I probably should have. That would have been a good transition. But basically, I could just do a quick summary. I'm sorry, the author, I don't have it on me, but thank you. That book, bro, is literally the name, right? Like the name says it all. But again, it's those concepts we talk about every week that it's easier said than done, right? But after I read that book, bro, for a few years now, I don't post on social media because I like to take in the trip, right? And it could be even just going to Vegas. And, you know, for example, if you post a picture, and again, I'm not bashing anybody, right? But for one, my view is you should love your life like you're on vacation every day. Right. So if you're only posting on social media while you're out and about, then maybe you should probably work to better your life. As far as happiness, it has nothing to do with money. But with me, it's like eating beans and rice, you know, is a happy moment. I'll post that on social media on a Monday. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. It's all about making yourself happy. So that has stuck to me. And also while you're there, let's say you post a picture or a few pictures or a video, you're so focused on that phone that once again, you're not living in the power of now. You're not reliving those moments. Or living those moments. So I've been doing that for a while. And when I get back, there's been trips, bro, honestly, that I still have pictures I never even posted on social media. But ever since I started doing that, you really enjoy the trip more. Yeah. Like it becomes an adventure. So and I'm not saying I'm perfect. You know, there's times where I do post here and there. But even after you post, guess what? Unconsciously or maybe consciously, you're looking at your post and see, who commented, who liked it, or, you know, and it's like, no, so anyways, you should live your life like you're on vacation every day. So, you know, I do the opposite. I like post more of like my everyday than, you know, when I'm out, I just take it off basically. But I did vlog and stuff, but like I said, you could take pictures. Those are memories, right? Like take video, do all that. I'm not saying leave your phone or nothing, but when you come back, those memories are going to be worth more because you lived them. Right. So
cool, man.
But yeah.
So what can you tell us about our guest today? All right. We got at least give him his name.
All right, we got Collin today.
Investor.
Let's bring him in.
All right, let's do it.
That horn is getting really good, huh?
Yeah.
Collin, man, how you doing, bro?
Good,
man.
Good. Thanks for making it up here. Thanks for the brewskis. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having us. This is like one of definitely our goals with this podcast. And I brought something for you, man. Before I was gonna give it to you off camera, but
don't make me blush here.
No, and actually, this is messed up because it's like I owe it to you. It's not even so.
Oh shit! You got my T-shirt.
2 years later, he ordered it. 2 years later.
Are you serious?
Here's the problem. I need a size bigger now.
There you go. and it's always been in the back of my head. I'm like, all right, when we do lunch or when we go out.
Dude, this is good quality.
Thank you, man.
That's
Thank
the
you.
But yeah, I
worst
need size
custom
bigger.
shirt.
Yeah.
I put on some pounds, you know.
My
It's like-
wife actually does printing. So
Does she really?
I'm just throwing
Yeah.
it out there. Anybody
Plug,
listening?
real quick plug.
Sweet.
My wife does printing.
This
so
is
yeah,
sweet.
But yeah, I owe it to you. So and actually, thanks for supporting, man. Because he ordered the shirt as soon as I posted it. Like, hey, this is my new
That's
shirt
cool,
for my
man.
new mixtape, and he pre-ordered it. So 2 years later, but you got it.
Dude, it's worth it. This is even better. So you order a T-shirt, and then you also get a T-shirt and it sits you. What's even better? What's even better than that?
Delivered.
It's perfect.
Delivered, yeah,
To my house. Yeah. This is way better than shipping and handling.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Again, thanks for having us. This is definitely one of our episodes that we,
Oh man, I've been so ready for this.
Yeah, for sure. But I always like to take it back as far as we can. Where are you from, and how did you end up in Omaha? And we're actually in Omaha today. Too,
We're in his house. Beautiful home.
Beautiful, and you can see the view.
Maybe we could do some footage later on, kind of just.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you can find the kids in the background too. So
There you go.
if you guys want to change some diapers as well. So yeah, I mean, just kind of just brief overview. Kind of lived all over. Born in California. Parents moved to Rhode Island right away. I think the story really begins in New Mexico. Grew up in a little town in Belen, New Mexico. Population 12,000. 50% graduation rate. Just a little different. Played football. Did some wrestling. Wasn't super good at any of them, but definitely learned a lot of skills, especially from the wrestling.
Yeah.
Just kind of the discipline, controlling weight, which I forgot about that. Exercise and just all that. Got most of the way through my degree and realized I needed to change. Moved out to Nebraska. Everybody asks why Nebraska. I don't know. I had
I'll ask you that. Why?
So no, that's a good question. So my wrestling partner in high school, that's why I mentioned wrestling. He was a linguist out here and just going through that 22-year-old midlife crisis, which I don't know if you guys have ever experienced, but midlife crisis doesn't mean you're at 30, 40, whatever. And just saw that the opportunity was not where I was at. Just came out here, moved to Bellevue, and got about 6 different jobs in 6 different months. And 3 or 4 I was working at once. I was selling jewelry. I was bartending, bar bouncing. I was working at Hy-Vee. That's a grocery chain. Hy-Vee was kind of where I hit it off. I started off at Starbucks. Everybody's like, 22 years old, you're going to sell coffee for $9 an hour. Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Do what you got to do.
Rose up to assistant director, was on my way to become a director. During that time, I was going to school the whole time, so finished my MBA. And then
You did finish it?
I did.
Okay.
I did finish it, and then with a focus of finance, and then I hit the gold mine. I hit the jackpot. I got a 9-to-5 job sitting in a cubicle.
Nobody does that.
Dude, 9 to 5. So I was working 70 hours a week, weekends, like the month of like November, December. I'm just going fucking nuts. So I can curse on here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We encourage it.
Okay,
no,
perfect.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, I'm going nuts, and it's great because it taught me so much discipline. It is one of the greatest companies. But then I got to a 9-to-5 and I was like, all this free time, weekends off,
Yeah.
see my kids. And I kept getting promoted there. But every time I'm just like gaining some weight here. And I'm just like, okay, what is next?
Yeah.
January 1st, 2017, it was the last day of vacation. Me and my wife, we were then expecting our second child. We have 3 of them right now. So big kudos to my wife, Emily, and our 3 children. We have a 6, 3, and a 1-year-old. She has been super supportive for what I'm going to tell you about the journey is to come. But looking on Facebook, as everybody does, on January 1st, 2017, when you have nothing to do, you're looking at what everybody else did. Buddy of mine and somebody I looked up to, who I've been on his podcast, Brett Tremblay, he's a big-time attorney in Miami. He wasn't at the time, posts about a book that he read that was the most influential, was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Like, I had the...
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I read that book that night, and honestly, I got up and I started pacing in circles. I'm like, you're kidding me. Nobody told me about passive income. Yeah. Nobody said that my 401k was
Who
my
were you
only
mad
goal.
At the most at that point? Like, was it the
myself.
school system?
No, it was myself. It was myself.
Okay.
It was
Yeah, I'll say
absolutely myself.
myself.
It was
Okay.
absolutely myself. I was
Yeah.
pissed. I was like, why did you not do this? So get back to work January 4th, 2017, which happens to be my birthday, and some things changed at work. They changed our vacation time, etc. And I realized, like, I'm never going to have control of my life for the next 30 years. Like,
so that was definitely a big moment there.
What are you going to do? So I dove into everything. I got, if you guys don't know what Bigger Pockets is, got on there, listened to every single podcast, read every single book.
The Minority Report too.
Yep, the Minority Report is but I would say every waking second, I was just so driven during that time. It was probably 16 to 18 hours a day that I was working. Obviously I had a couple hours of work to do a day, but they didn't care. They just wanted to keep your butt in the seat. It wasn't about work. Every second I woke up at 4:30, boom, podcast is in my ear. Boom, before I go to bed at night, it's, 11 o'clock, listen to podcasts, reading a book. Anyways, did that. I wrote 191 letters by hand because I was like, okay, you can pay all these services, which makes sense once you understand the process. But I was like, I know nothing about this. I know very little people that are in it. I'm going to go write these letters and at least prove it. And if it doesn't work, then I feel better. Otherwise, I'm not just throwing money at something. I think a lot of people are just like throwing money and like expecting a result. That's not effort. So it's like, I just like doing the things the hard way. Did that, got about 6 projects out of that, closed on my first property, April 24th of 2017, have had at least 1 property under contract since then. So now
at any given time, you've always had at least one.
I went almost an entire day and got something under contract, 23 unit. It was like 9 o'clock at night on a Friday or Saturday. I was at the pool, I swear. And I was calling, I had nothing under contract. I'm on the phone with everybody. I'm just stressing. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And something fell out of contract. They assigned it over to me. It was a 23 unit and basically bought it for $1,054,000, eventually appraised for 1.58 a year later.
Wow.
So
and I named it after my daughter. So
nice.
Sorry, going all over the place.
When you were writing these letters, like who were you writing them to and what were they like? What were they?
So, who, what address? Like, how'd you find that?
So I went on ListSource. It's a source that you can get, obviously, from the name of List. I like that. I wish I could do that. Basically, you can get a list of addresses, and you can filter by absentee owner, multifamily, per zip code, and those are the 3 that I focused on. I didn't know how to use the software, so I spent about $200 building my list and realized I kept pulling garbage until I actually figured out how to use the software. Went through it. It was about 400 or 500. And then I looked through every single address. I Google mapped it. I also looked it up on the DC assessor site. I rated it red, yellow, green. Red, nah. Yellow, certainly worth following up. Green, I want this. Green ones, I would try to look up all their numbers. Now, this is like, I knew nothing about nothing. So I'm online just like, how to find numbers. They're like yellow pages, and I'm putting in somebody's number. I'm putting in somebody's name, and I'm going through. I mean, this is like 30 days that took me to put this list together. It was something I obsessed about. But yeah, I spent a couple $100 in 2 days. I mean, it made, I don't know, well over $500,000.
I was gonna say, it sounds like
well
the
over,
best 200.
Actually, well over that. But yeah, I just kind of combed through it. Crazy thing was, I think things have become a lot more intense, which they have, but I started getting calls. Like I sent them out on Friday because you're supposed to send them out that you want mail to hit on the Monday or Tuesday is what I've read. Because if it's Friday, Saturday, we're doing what we're doing. We're drinking beers, we're getting mail. We're like, we'll deal with that next week. Monday or Tuesday, you're like, okay, this is like an urgency letter.
Okay.
All right. And I got a great response rate. One thing that I did with a letter is, so the handwriting part, so I made a handwritten letter, I photocopied it both sides, and then I hand wrote in my signature, the address, because I didn't know of any software. So I folded it myself, I put it in a regular envelope. I put my home address. People think this is risky. I did it. I hand wrote their address and I put a real stamp on. We get so much junk mail. In our junk mail, we're like, nah.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
If you have somebody handwrite a piece of letter to you, or a piece of mail,
open that.
You're gonna open it. You're at least gonna open it. You're at least gonna open it.
That is weird how much of a difference that's made, because I did that. I started writing letters to pre-foreclosures, and then my first batch was printed, and I got some responses, but then the second batch was handwritten, and I have the worst handwriting in the world, and it was so hard for me to like slowly write it so it doesn't look horrible, but I got so much more responses. And since then, like on my properties, they probably look up absentee owner type thing. I've gotten letters that are printed in like a handwritten font, which to me, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like, it's a weird thing. It's not quite the same.
So I did the same campaign after. I think it was like a Michael Corliss campaign. Same thing. So the first time, I got to look back, but I think it was a 13 to 14% response rate, like something out of this fucking world. I had a 3% conversion rate. Once again, small batch, but I did the same thing, just kind of different list. And I got 3 calls, only 1 was kind of interested. And it was the same thing, but it was the printed letters. And then the postmark was not a real stamp.
Right.
That was it. They hand wrote the addresses, they did all that. So
yeah, it makes a huge difference.
People can, it's, oh gosh, I wish I knew what I was listening to the other day, but I mean, just in a 1/10 of a second, somebody can realize if you're full of shit or not.
Exactly.
I mean, and you can see something and realize if it's genuine or not.
Yeah, that's so true though.
That is,
Even not thinking like it, that's so true. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of how I feel when I get those printed in handwritten font. I'm like, you're kind of lazy, and that's kind of bullshit. Like, so, but if I do get one that's in like actual handwriting, then I do open it because like, well, you took the time at least, because I know what they're doing. Obviously, I'm familiar with it. But a homeowner that has nothing to do with any of this stuff, they might think, it's an actual.
So, Collin,
deal.
if you don't mind me asking, like what? So, and obviously we're gonna get to your story more of where you're at now, but do you still do that, or is that some like what you learned that you kept from then that you're doing now?
Pass it on to, so I have
that 6-year-old.
No, I have that's his handwriting. Maybe actually he just say dinosaurs. And, I want chocolate. But so one of my big philosophies, and I'm getting to your question, but is always replace your job. Always replace yourself with your highest and best use. Find people that can do that, and then encourage them to do the same thing. I want every single person that works for me. You may have to start out picking up dog shit. You may have to start out spraying for bugs. I've done all that. Now I have people that do that. They grow and they find people to do that, of people that want to grow up to a different level of success. So to your answer, no, I don't do that. But a gentleman on my team is doing that. He's out there hustling. Just told him the formula, and he is just finding things left and right.
So you kept the formula for sure.
Absolutely. And it changes,
Right. You get better. You get better at you learn. And no, I love that. It's funny because this was years ago. Like P. Diddy had a show where he would like have people come on and be like, "Oh, you want to be a singer, rapper?" And he would do shit like that. Like, and people looked at it like it was bad, but I always thought it was good. Like, and he would be like, "No, you got to go get me lunch." And they come back.
Oh,
with
the
lunch.
making the band.
Yeah, making the band. That's what it was. And like, no, this lunch is cold. Go back and like get me a better. And I mean, there's probably like a borderline there, but. That's what it takes. You have to start somewhere, and especially with a growing company, because I mean you're doing great things, which we'll get into. But
I think it also helps you when you understand and you've been in the trenches like you've been in. You get an appreciation for that person doing that job for you, so you don't treat them like shit. You encourage them to get to your level at some point, and as you kind of what's the saying? Each one teach one type thing. Like as you're coming up, you bring people up with you, and I think that attitude of collaboration.
It sounds like you're being a great leader.
Yeah,
that's another thing. It's like a leader basically shows you how to do it, and will do it with you if he needs to or she needs to. But there's people like masters that are like, oh, but if you're a leader, and it sounds like it, like that's amazing. Okay, so great story. That was great. I always like to ask this question. I'm just very interested in knowing, was there any family members that were entrepreneurs or did some investing, or was it what like you start to read and like how the way it hit you? Like when was that seed planted in you for entrepreneurship?
Yeah, and I mean, I think my mom helped me, and my dad certainly, but there was certainly a gap. But I've never told this story before. But when I was 6 or 7 years old. Crazy Collin's Cupcake Corner, but we didn't just sell like, somebody's out there selling lemonade. I'm making signs. We're baking cupcakes. We're making slushies. We are selling things. And, most lemonade stands, at least back in the day, they make $10, $15, $20. I was making $75, and people were just like, they're like, you don't know how to do math. Here's more money. I'm like, yes, but whatever. The next thing that I did was I started wholesaling candy in 5th and 6th grade. Okay. So I'd go to like I can't remember what it was, but it was basically like the Costco of today, just kind of a little bit rougher. I just buy a bunch of candy, and I'd be kind of in the back alley like, hey, you want some Skittles? What's up? You want some Kit Kats? And, I'd pick it up for 20 cents and I'd sell it for $1. And I would cut off the margin for the vending machines. And then I got in trouble and threatened to get expelled. But
really? You threatened to get expelled for that?
Yeah.
That just shows you shows you the system.
Right, yeah.
Like instead of encouraging,
I would have
wow, like your life is gonna be better than you're gonna teach people. And
To be fair, nowadays things are weird where maybe
do you
there's
still go out and sell candy? Or?
Do you?
Dude, I make my kids sell candy to me.
What is it?
That's what they're doing.
There you go.
Crazy Collins Candy Corner? Is that what
Crazy Collins Cupcake Corner.
Cupcake Corner.
Just the weirdest thing. I can't believe
Bring it back, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
weird.
Though. I love it.
I feel
go
like
ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay, so you remember that? So were your like was your family entrepreneur or
no?
Like?
So my dad had kind of his own like mortgage business. Very small, out of his home, no employees. My mom worked at a university. She fund rose, but I just kind of went through the college. Like, I'm going to be a business person. I'm going to be an engineer. And I went through all that. And then
that's what I was going to ask you. What did they teach you as far as, and this is obviously not blaming them or nothing, but what was that house teaching? Like, what did they teach you? Like, was it go to school or like, what was that?
It was go to school and also like follow your passion, which.
Okay. So that was amazing. That's amazing.
Definitely. And it was one of those things that just, for a stubborn person such as myself, it may take till you're 32 years old to actually figure it out. As I said, I got my degree slowly. I'm a 6-year bachelor's to graduate.
Same
and then, in 8 or 9 years till I got my master's, definitely didn't go to Harvard. Maybe if I would have applied myself, but it was just, just trying to figure it out on the way. One of the biggest things was just work. Like work. My mom worked like 2 or 3 jobs when I was younger. She was working at, she was a waitress. She's a molecular biologist. She did all this different stuff. And just kept going. So I saw like, okay, I'll just keep working.
Yeah, like work hard.
And it's just so much different now. I think about even from 4 years ago of just when I started, how much more direction people have of like, okay, you can follow these steps and you can be in a certain spot. Back then, it wasn't like that. So those are kind of some of the base principles.
Okay. And so you're saying once you read that book is when it kind of hit you hard, right? The Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's when you were like, okay, there's more to life than this.
You ever heard of Smonday? You know what Smonday is?
What is it?
It's when you're a 9 to 5 person and it's Sunday and it's about 3 p.m.
Oh,
and
God, you cry.
Fucking feel Monday coming and you're having so much fun.
It's
just anxiety coming through you. I felt Smonday in a way of about to turn 32, 33, about to go back to work with no more vacation time. And about to realize I wasn't gonna have a lot of time with my kids.
Right.
And I felt just an amazing Monday. And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and multiple other books and took action. But it was just like a cascade.
I didn't know the name, but I get it.
I remember that. Like when I used to have my job, like my W-2, Sundays was the worst, and then Monday, and then once you get to that Wednesday, you're like, okay. But anyways, you don't want to talk about. Well, maybe.
Oh, dude, these dudes always pick on me because I still have my W-2.
That's all good, man.
Hey, dude, it makes me more bankable.
Relax. You gotta do, bro.
Dude. So I will say, my partner Chris Pomerly, he just left his W-2, an attorney, family law attorney, which means not the fun type of attorney. Working with families, litigating. He just left. I left my job 3 years before, but it's those golden handcuffs. But I mean, I am super thankful for him for what he did because the bankability was huge. I mean, you do it until you do it. Instead of he was doing his law job, I took over doing property management. Now I could do it on my own schedule, but it's still a job. I mean, it's not passive income.
And for sure, I'm a big believer. You got to do what you got to do. Like, I'll go back and work at Burger King if I have to, right? Like, you got to feed your family. That's just all. No, it's not bashing, bro. Are you crying again? I'm sorry.
Not today. Not today.
He said no. Real quick, you were talking about a book earlier. Can you touch on that? The 10%.
Yeah, I mean, so nothing I'm following yet. So these guys are talking about Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, which is basically like understanding now. Like everything is now. It's just, you got to read the book. It's hard to conceptualize. It's by Dan Harris. I think it was like NBC, ABC. He talks about meditation and just being 10% happier, being more present. Just like we all have these bad habits on like, okay, how do we deviate from these bad habits? Well, typically we're just not paying attention to it, or we're not paying attention to ourselves. I don't want to go too far off because I am not the best person to speak on it, but I just know from reading something like that, practicing breathing techniques, whether it's going on a walk in the morning, maybe you're not sitting there and just doing a meditation and, going, but you are,
I'm about to, after talking to Doug Fitzgerald.
But whatever you can find for your meditation or your kind of like calm spot. And for me, I know it's like I'll go out swimming, and that is like, my mind is just lucid. There's nothing going on. I'll go for a walk in the morning, no headphones in, just real
That's
early.
Amazing.
And it's just calms you down.
To add to that, and then you could continue after that. Well, I was in El Salvador, actually. I can't remember how it went, but basically the wife had to go get ready. We were in an all-inclusive resort, basically. And the wife had to go get ready with the kids. She's like, no, you can stay, blah, blah. And then my uncle stayed, but then he's like, well, here in a half hour, I'm going to go get ready for lunch or whatever. So I ended up by myself at the beach, and man, just having your feet on the sand, which is actually a thing. Being on the chair by myself, like it was so weird, and people like I literally roll on the sand. Well, like it sounds weird. I know. Don't picture it, please.
I know.
You're picturing it. Just picture the mindset behind that.
Whatever you say.
It's a whale. It's a whale.
Save him.
Splash some water on
in the water.
No, but next time you guys are at the beach, do that. Like it's crazy. And this is like at the very edge. You could sit there and your mind just starts rolling. It's that sitting there in the moment by yourself. Yeah. I actually sat on a chair too. One of my favorite things too is to read, which I didn't do because I didn't have the book on, a book on me, but reading, so it was nice to it was like 2 hours worth of me just being by myself at the beach. It was amazing.
So with you having so much, I actually want to follow that up with what you were saying. With you having so much going on, like you do massive deals. Like I follow you on social media. I think like most people would be like, oh my God, you have these giant deals going on. How do you have the time to just go chill in the lake, and like, can you speak to that, how important that is for you in your success, how important it is to act? Because I struggle with that with myself. Like I was just telling my wife last night, we were hanging out outside of our house, and I was like, I want a hammock. Like it'd be cool just to hang out and read a book on a hammock, And she goes, when are you gonna have time for that? And I'm like, you're right. I don't ever make time for myself.
I've done that, bro, in my backyard. That's amazing.
But yeah, if you can speak to like how important that is for you.
And to add on to that question, since it goes hand in hand, because we're thinking the same way. We're the same way same waves. But if you could add on what's your morning routine, and if that has something to do with it, to add on to that.
So yeah, there's two parts to it. And there was like pre-W2 or when I was in my W2 and post-W2. And when I wanted and needed to get out of my job, I would wake up at 4 a.m. I'd start reading, and I got to the gym every day. That was a non-negotiable. I did not want to go. I did not want to listen to Bigger Pockets. I did not want to listen to the books. I was exhausted. Kids, up all night. That is a non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. You get that no matter how much sleep you're getting. Of course, there's a point where your body's like, you can't do it. Right. You're sick. You have to do that in the beginning stage. If you really want to get to that place, it is just sacrifice. I got rid of lunches. Like, not that I wasn't eating, but I would go walk. I'd have a protein shake or whatever, and I'd go walk and look for properties because I said, this is what I'm going to do. That's what I did at the time. I read at night. I did everything I could on Saturdays, Sundays. So I remember this very clearly. My daughter was 6 days old and lay down on the couch. I think football was on or something. I told my wife, I'm not leaving this couch for the next week because I took some time off. Yeah. Within 20 minutes, I got a call about a place on fire, flood, and power lines down. I got up and went and did it, because I knew that at this point, I can go take my daughter out swimming in the water in the middle of a day on a Tuesday. Yeah. But I saw that vision. Now it does become difficult. And so I want to be honest, I'm not perfect at it, but it is really trying to find time during the middle of the days.
For sure, yeah.
relax.
Because you want to get the most important things done business-wise, because now it's under you.
Yes.
Obviously, it's more important.
But one of the most important things now is just having great partners. So you ask how can you get so much done? I can only do it because I have great partners and I do what I'm best at. So Chris, Steven, my entire team, they have tons of skills that I don't have. They can handle it. Lots of the negotiation process, finding the deals. I mean, I still find deals, but not nearly like what Chris and Steven do. So they're out finding deals. They're putting it all together. So it's like, all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got an 80 unit, which we're closing on tomorrow, FYI.
You did it. I got to do it for that one.
And, but they handled so much of it from the purchase agreement because now they know they hand it over. And I'm going to use my secret sauce. My team and I are going to go in and we're going to reposition this property and turn something that's $4.6 million to over $6 million. You know,
God, that's awesome.
Wow.
And that's what we've done. And we work in that sense of like, we don't have to do everything where it's like a Venn diagram. We're always going to overlap in some senses, the networking, the capital raising. But that is one of the biggest things is having partners. And that allows you time. They're on vacation this week. I'm going on vacation next week. We're all here to pick up the pieces.
Gotcha.
At the beginning, it's hard though. At the beginning, it is, if you really, really want it, it's just going to be painful.
Yeah.
It is going to be super painful, but just know pain is short.
beginning.
And regardless, time is going forward. You are going, regardless, time keeps moving forward. And if you say one day, you're going to get to that one day. All you had to do was get through the pain of that. And you're still at that one day, but you're way farther ahead. So...
Can you write a book like that? That alone right there was like Collin's that one day.
No,
Thanks, guys.
I love that. And you know what, Collin? It reminds me of like me personally, you know, at the level that I'm at, where like there's days where like maybe my guys, you know, are doing a job on a Tuesday or whatever. And my schedule is usually Monday, Tuesdays is when I run. I do my podcast, books, you know, read, whatever in the mornings. But I used to wake up at 4 a.m. when I had my 9 to 5, right? And like you said, you have to want it that bad. You have to want. I used to go in at 6, I think, or 6, 7. But I used to wake up 4, do my morning routine. And so I felt like that is definitely an important piece of like the puzzle, right? So I still, to this day, there's days where my guys are me. And nowadays, you know, I wake up at 7 or 8, you know, and there's that argument, right? Like, what time should you wake up? But it's also like the freedom to do it is kind of what we've came up with, you know, throughout the podcast. But there's days where I'll go handle like my guy, oh, hey, you know, construction, blah, blah, blah. So I'll go, or hey, property management this. So I'll take care of it in the morning, but then I'll fight as much as I can to come back. And even if it is 11 a.m. or even before lunch, you know, or even after lunch, I'll go on my run and I'll do, because I feel like it's an important puzzle.
It's huge. It is huge. Just at least moving your mind. As I said, you know, having 3 kids and just making all kinds of excuses and gym shutting down for COVID, which that you can do push-ups and go for a run. But I was making excuses, but now just waking up and like instantly what I do is, you know, go for a walk, just at least get that sunlight, get everything going, just anything, do some type of exercise, some type of movement. And if you can do it by yourself, or, you know, I brought my daughter this morning, just walk down and just nice and calm. And it just resets you.
Before I ask my question, can you do the horn real quick? He said, but like a bang. That's like a remix.
I think he does it better than you. He did it better than you.
That's awesome.
No, I want to ask you, there was a post that you posted recently where it was basically your team, and, you know, the post was amazing. Obviously, you know, anybody following that wants to follow him or following now, go check it out. But it was a great post. I want to pick your brain on that. Like, how important is it, and how is your team set up, and what team was that? Again, if you could kind of summarize it all into one, like the companies that you own, because I know you do your own management too. You own your own management company. So if you could touch on that real quick.
Yeah. So just kind of high level overview of what I do. So we've got it'll be about 1,600 rentals next week. And then we have another 300 or so under contract. So no, it's crazy. When I started off, I thought 16 rentals was going to be enough. I was going to cash flow $250 each, and boom, I'm off to the sunset. You know, that's literally where my mind started off, and it's just crazy because I look back at some of the like messages I wrote and just
that's such a short time too, Collin. I want to point out, like, don't miss the timeline here.
Yeah, that's important too.
Yeah, so keep going.
No, so right now, where I started off was in property management. That's Bricktown management. So we manage all of our own assets in Omaha, in Council Bluffs. So we're managing about like 700 units of the 1,600 or so. The rest are third-party managed, in which we asset manage. The asset management company and the syndication company is Park Ave Capital. So we do joint ventures through that. Sometimes we just buy assets.
Was that your second company after the management?
Yep. So Chris Pomerleau and I started it. Now Steven Sykes is also a co-owner and founder of it as well. Park Ave 2. We're real creative with the next name.
I wonder what the next one will be.
We'll see.
Is there a 3? Like Rambo 3?
There you go.
Yeah.
Rambo 3.
So that was kind of the next thing. And you know, just for people starting out, it's like everybody needs to get their LLC. They need to get their business cards. I was Collin Schwartz, the landlord, for like a year and a half until I had 100 and some units. It's like, I should probably do something with this because it's an actual business. Yeah. Same with Park Ave. We're just like, okay, we need to do something with this.
So
which is a great story with Park
Ave. Yeah, sorry. There's great milestones there. So you managed your own until 100 units?
So I managed like my own with my cell phone by myself. To 100 units. Okay. But now we still manage 700 units. And that's from what you were going with is the post that I had on my team, which is just fucking stellar. Which is just like everybody I work with, they're like A players. They're A players in their own areas. We are all good and terrible at some things. I am terrible at just, I've got 90,000 unread emails. So send me an email, guys. No, send me a text. But just finding a group of individuals that's motivated and sees a vision. Everybody's interested in entrepreneurship, real estate. And it's crazy. Everybody's been a recommendation, and just individuals that they're looking to better themselves. So when you're starting company of a property management company, you can't pay a ton of money. Like I've had people leave good corporate careers to make significantly less and are now rising up and just changing our company. People that have left other careers, fitness careers, other property management companies, individuals that have had good sales companies, and they come over. But now what they're doing is they're buying properties. They're investing in properties. I say, and we'll get into the rest of it. It's the property management will only make you so much money because that's all it creates. There's all these ancillary businesses that you create. Go buy yourself a 4-plex. Go buy yourself an 8-plex. I'll help find the capital. I'll help find, the money. You'll find the connections. And I think that's been one of the biggest things. So that's the team. We also started just through the network. So run a real estate meetup in town, Omaha real estate meetup. Once again, super creative. I love your humility, dude. Action before everything. Ready, fire, aim, guys. Ready, fire, aim. I mean, as long as you're doing something that's ethical and morally intact, like if you can ready, fire, aim, fucking go for it. Omaha real estate meetup. There's about 2,900 members. And that's where I've met a lot of other people. Some of those individuals, boom, helped create liquid lending solutions. Liquid lending solutions, we lend money. It's hard money lending. We started that 9 months ago, and I think we've lent out like $13 million. Wow. Like 20, 30 transactions a month. And this was just an ancillary business of having lines of credit or capital that we could utilize. And we're also helping people. I borrowed hard money. I still borrow hard money.
Yeah. All my deals are hard money.
I run out of money all the time. It is very easy to do in this business. We just started Cascade Commercial. That's Steven Sykes. And now we're all kind of like this big triad. Going to start Cascade Residential. We have a title company that's going to be opening up in about 2 weeks. Galaxy Title, looking at insurance companies. We have a third-party property management company that we have the docs formed, and we are going to do that not in town, but for out-of-state items that we manage. And then we have a construction company to capitalize off of what we're already doing internally.
That's amazing. I love that.
So what I'm seeing here is that you put a ton of work onto the front end to stay like just laser focused on what you were doing. Like, mind you, like 4 years ago, you didn't think you'd be where you're at now, obviously. No. So now that you're at, you've got your hands in like different types of businesses and so many different sources of income. What would you say attributes your ability to now do a title company and insurance and construction? And so like how, because people always say like, just do one thing at a time, focus on one thing, because I don't like that either. I don't like the idea of like, oh, you can only get good at one thing. Like you can, to me, I think I have an idea of how you're doing it or what gives you the ability to do it. But I kind of want you to answer like, what gives you the ability to do that now at the level that you're working at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I know zero about title, but what I do know is I know somebody with a title company that wants to create more title companies and individuals within that. And
you're like Henry Ford.
Yes, exactly. That's what I had in my mind.
That's the greatest compliment.
He's got the button in his office.
Collin Ford.
That's the greatest compliment.
Ford.
No, it's you treat people well. People want to work with you. People have all these different skills, and if you can bring people together to combine those skills, I know it's whatever you call it, human capital skill, or I don't know what you call it, but I just try to work with people that want to work really hard, and I do the best that I can and they do the best that they can. I'm not going to go start. I am not and I was like this at the beginning, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Now I'm like, I'm going to bring the people together. I'm going to help bring other people together that can look at it from a strategic standpoint. I'm going to sit there and say, you guys are smarter than me. I'm smarter in this area. This is where my input is. I mean, just the word is autonomy, like finding people that can be autonomous together, that can work together, that want to create solutions. Because we're all trying to grow. We're all trying to grow. We're just trying not to. I think people get so scared. They're like, title insurance, but I got to go do this. I got to go get my license. I got to go do that. Lots of these things you don't. Like property management, they're like, oh, but don't you need to do this? Right, don't you need to set up an it? Sure, but if you're managing your own stuff, so there's a difference between first and third party or self-owned and third party property management. But no, you find people smarter than you and better than you in those areas. Can I remodel a home? No, I can. I don't think I can install a window screen. I could, but it'd take me 3 hours. And
that's amazing.
And literally, there would just be so much cursing in this home. My wife would just fucking give up. She would do it herself, and she would have done like 6 of them before then. So, I mean, just finding better people that are smarter than you, and just one really important thing though is constant communication. Like my core team, we are communicating all the time, all the time. I've noticed when things have started going sour, and this was about 2 years ago, started getting really stressed, and it was kind of during that growth phase of going to like 150 to 300 units, bringing on staff, which I had managed staff before in another business, but my own business, and you see every dollar, and you're just like, you're just kind of shitting bricks. That
was that Bricktown. I see what you did there.
I never thought of that. That's good.
If you ever use that, no,
that's good.
I'm a trademark that.
No, but what I started doing is daily meetings. And this is also something to like attribute to like the benefits of a W-2, because I learned these skills from doing, some methodologies and like almost like traction type stuff of meeting with individuals. I also joined a coaching group, which I was the dumbest person in the room. That's
a great spot to be in though.
Yeah. I was surrounded by guys that are just like studs, have 90 attorneys working for them, have 70 agents just crushing it. And I had like one part-time employee, and I'm in there. I'm like, just nervous to talk. I'm like, what do you guys even talk about here? What do you mean meetings?
Oh,
like,
yeah. No,
meetings in the mind.
I'm looking to join a mastermind group here soon, and I hope I'm just the dumbest, least experienced guy in the room, because I would just get so much value out of it. Me,
and that's kind of how I've told you. Like that's kind of how this podcast happened. Collin was basically he did some stuff like before in my head. It was like, oh, we're going to start this. But then I had to do all the work, right? But then I told this dude like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind starting a podcast. And all of a sudden he's like, what do you think of this logo? What do you think of the, so it was amazing. And I always tell that story because like action, right? Like, and that's how partnerships are formed when you both want it. And then now, you know, we're blowing up, going viral, and
so Dan does most of the work.
That's what I say.
I'm the behind the scenes guy.
That is such a good point. So this is something that everybody.
Quick saying, I always tell people, if you're gonna eat off my table, bring something to it, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is something that everybody should take away. Everybody gets into a partnership. Okay, how are you going to structure this amount? Are you going to be 50%? Or are you going to be 30%? I brought the deal. I'm doing all the work. You brought the money, and it just becomes this convoluted thing. You are going to go through that at the beginning, and you're going to weed through partners. But when you find a real partner, my partners and I, they can do 100% of the work on a project, and I make exactly as much as them. I can do 90% and they make exactly as much. That's what a partnership is, because we focus on our skills. It is just so important, because like I am terrible with some things and they are terrible with things, and we are great at things and great at other things. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I showed you the intro earlier for a podcast, and that's another great example, you know, where I did the audio for it, I got the audio done. And he was kind of iffy, like, oh, let's see how this sounds.
He sends me a text. Were you in El Salvador yet?
Yeah,
I think so.
No, I think it was right before that. Yeah.
But he like sends me this text. He goes, "Hey, bro, I got this intro done," and I saw that it was like a video file. Like, Jesus,
like,
what did you? Because I'm thinking he's like,
yeah, he thought it was me.
I thought it was him doing it, and I'm like, dude, we talked about us not doing it. You know, I'm like, oh, whatever. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, and so then. Dude, I love the audio portion of it. I wasn't a big fan of the video portion of it,
but that's his skill,
my realm right there.
So all of a sudden he sends me the video with the audio that I did, and all of a sudden we have this great intro. So anyways, that's the amazing thing of a partnership. Yeah. And no, you know, we never said, oh, you did more than, or you know, it's like, no, let's just keep this thing going. If you could touch on that a little more, Collin. Basically, how does that work when you do partnerships? So do you like if it's three of you guys, how does that work? Like with the profits and everything. And so I'm assuming from what you just said, you don't care who does more work than others, right?
No, I mean, everybody's going to weed themselves out. We partner with people. Like, you're going to partner with people at the beginning, and I've partnered with people. It's like, they're not pulling their weight there. Or they just get a different interest, and it's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, it's cool. Like, boom, I did this, you did this. Like, that's where it goes. Or you guys find your own paths and ways of doing things. That's totally fine. For what we do, it's like, we're just global. Like, you make what I make, what you make. Like, you have your niche. We're all focused on like capital raising, finding deals, but like I'm heavier on the management operation side. Also kind of a visionary of the businesses, of seeing, you know, connecting people and creating those businesses. I'm not good at like drawing the lines around that and putting the legal docs together, but connecting people that have like similar interests. You know, Steven's great. He's great with the brokerage. He's great with negotiation, etc. Chris, you know, he just crushes it. He's the guy that like just can't stop, and he won't stop. Like, he just keeps getting it going. You know, he's finding deals. He's putting things together. I can like juggle one ball at a time. He's juggling like 35, you know, and Steven's in the middle, and we're kind of just like complementary. I'm the dumb guy that's like, okay, pick up rock, move rock. Like, and Steven's like picking up my rock and pieces rocks and throwing them around. And then Chris is over here like just bringing rocks on of like, here's this crazy idea. And then every once in a while, I just typically throw rocks up there like title company, insurance company, like this. Hey, I don't know what to do with it, but here you guys go. Do you guys like it?
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, I know. But as far as profits, I mean, we can get into the syndication model, which is completely different on like a profit structure and just income structure.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the things.
But yeah, we definitely did want to talk about the syndication. That's something that I think.
Well, and real quick, before you ask the question, I just want to tell you, like, you know, I'll be on your social media one day and it's like, oh, I just acquired 60 units today. And then at 5 p.m., that was at 10 a.m. And then at 5 p.m., another 60 guys. And then at 7, oh, yeah, wait. So, man, I got to give you props on that, man. That's motivational as hell.
Good.
Just so you know that. So keep that going, man, because that you're motivating people that you don't even know, right? Like, well, I mean, you know me, I'm this big time rapper, you know, I'm doing it big, but now. But answer the question,
no, so like, awesome. I think with the syndication model, a lot of people I mean, typically anyone that's listening to this that is new to it probably doesn't know what syndication is.
Right.
So I guess
if you can explain that.
Yeah, if you want to explain what syndication is, because obviously you're more experienced in it. But also I kind of want to go into why is it so scary to people, and what is the reality of it, I guess.
Okay, so first off, I'll start with why it's so scary.
Wait, what is it first?
Oh, come on. I'm going to start off with why it's so scary.
Okay.
And it's going to bleed into it because basically, okay, so I'm going to go to what it is. Syndication is the pooling of investors' capital to buy a project. So it's not like going and buying a stock. You buy a building. You, me, we're the general partners, limited partners, passive individuals give us capital to invest for them. That is exactly what is the most scary thing about it, because taking somebody's capital is one of the most important things that you should protect, because that's their time. That's their life, man. You take somebody's $50,000, mate, and we do a lot of, not underwriting of the individuals, but we want to know the individuals where we don't take their last $50,000. But there's syndicators that out there that do that. And dude, somebody could have saved for 5 years for that. That's scary. So that is the scariest part. That's what puts
somebody's
fear in
life.
That's what put fear into me. Now, I did my own projects. I'm gonna get back to it, but I did my own projects for 2 years until I gave one of my buddy's parents $100,000, and I hadn't asked my mom for money. She has money sitting in bonds that make 1%, and I gave somebody a 400% return in a year that still cash flows, and that there's massive tax write-offs. So I'm like, Mom, do you want to invest? And I felt icky. I felt almost icky about it, but it's the opposite, giving somebody an opportunity for something that is not typically available. So the scariest thing, and also the scariest syndicators you should look for, is somebody that is desperate to grab capital. That is that is something to be fearful of. Syndication, once again, you're pooling individuals' money. It's typically under a Securities and Exchange Commission filing. So we do 506Bs, which means, and we do 506Cs as well, but 506B means that you're a sophisticated investor. That means that we have a relationship with you. That means if you reach out to me from this podcast and you say, Collin, I have $50,000, that's not a relationship. Billy and I were over here. We've had conversations for 2 years. We've talked about investing in depth. I understand kind of his financial status. That would be considered sophisticated, and where he could, provide money and provide capital for one of our deals. 506C, you have to be accredited. So accredited means as an individual, you make $200,000 a year, or as a couple, $300,000 a year, or your net worth is over $1 million, not including your personal residence. So that is something that needs to be verified. The difference with the 506C is I can send this video out and put a big tagline above it and say, give me money today as long as you're accredited. Here's what we're looking to get, and somebody provides me capital. So it's different because you're accredited, and you should have the sophistication according to the SEC to be able to determine which is a good investment. You still obviously have to represent the deals.
Is that national, or is that?
Yes.
This is
that's
a dumb
national.
question,
That's
right?
like a federal thing, right?
Okay.
So like a Grant Cardone, he does a 506Cs.
Yep, Grant
Like,
Cardone's
I'm
a
always like, hey, if you
506C.
have $500,000, blah, blah, I'm like,
That's right.
wish,
Yeah.
that'd be great. So it's scary on the syndicator side because you have potentially people's life savings in your hands. Why?
That's what people should be scared of.
Right.
I should say.
I didn't think about that.
perfect
I actually
sense.
didn't think
It
about
makes
that
perfect
because
sense,
I think when you're an ethical person, that doesn't really come to mind in terms of like.
And I love that that was
you
your
think
first
about
concern.
that.
I love that.
Because I mean, for me, like obviously that would be a concern, and I didn't really think like, oh, you got to be careful with the ones that just want any money. Outside of the ethical sides of it, is there any like fear that you had when you first started, like just in general, just managing that big of a transaction? Like that's got to be terrifying.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, every deal, I mean, but you go through it, and yes, every deal is scary in some way.
Even at this level.
My first 3 packs.
You still get scared, Collin?
Yeah, of course. Dude, I get scared that I have a 3-year-old daughter that's going to be a teenager. That's scary.
I've got one. Yeah, it's
But
good.
no, I mean, we're doing larger deals, and yeah, I mean, they just become more complex. But what I've realized, and the best way to fight through fear is kind of what I talked about with partnerships, is finding people that are competent and really good partners. Fear goes away. And also just the constant communication. Me and my partners talk every day, every day for an hour, sometimes 2 hours, every day of the week. There's not 5 o'clock tonight, Sunday, we're talking. Like, we are talking every day. And yeah, people think, okay, that's work. I want to take this day off. Doesn't mean we don't, but that constant communication with all these balls in the air, it gets rid of a lot of the fear, because we can all go figure out and all go find somebody and create solutions.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it by yourself, that's kind of scary.
Right.
So you brought in partners for your stuff when you were like, what, at 100 units on your own? Is that about right?
So I had been partnering since the beginning. I brought in, team members, which helped me with the management company. My first project, I partnered with Steven Sykes on a 3-plex.
Gotcha.
I've done deals on my own. I've done a few, which most of them I sold off to roll into the next thing. But yeah, almost all my deals are with partners.
So outside of just the normal, or not the normal, I should say, but outside of what you'd imagine, if someone came up to you like, hey, I want to get into syndication, obviously it's not something that you can just do. Like, I think for the most part, you have to educate yourself, obviously. But what would be your advice to anyone that's been thinking about syndication, that has never done one, outside of educate yourself, listen to podcasts, read books? Like, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
Yeah. And it's funny because I talk to a lot of guys now, and some of them, come from really wealthy backgrounds, or they make $400,000 or $500,000 a year. They're on the coasts. I'm also a real estate coach as well. And they, it's like, okay, my gift is raising capital. Cool. Just once again, going back to step one book, I know it's education, but the best ever book on real estate syndication, it's by Joe Fairless. It lays it out for you. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to just start with syndication, you need to understand what real estate is, or get around individuals that understand what real estate is. So you're going to either go on the acquisition, the management, the capital raising, the asset management. You're going to go within all these different realms, and somebody needs to pick up all those pieces. And if you're capable of doing all those, that's fine. But typically it's multiple people. So you usually need a partner with somebody. Mm-hmm. So I have gotten that question a lot. Like, well, I want to syndicate, I want to make bank. I want to make dough. Me too. I get it. So that's why I sprayed for bugs and to get it. But yeah, you got to find the right person, and also find your niche, and just gotta work hard. I mean, as with everything, you have to be relentless. There's not a single day I take off, and it's almost to a fault. But I think it's not to a fault, because every day you take off, there's somebody else out there not taking a day off. Doesn't mean you have to miss things. And I think that's what people think overworking is. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my gosh, you're overworking. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with reading for 2 hours a day, or coming here on a Sunday and having a podcast? Like I'm learning so much talking to you guys that, this is going to change like my perception for the week. So you just got to have it. Like, if you can have it flowing all the time, you need to have those off times. But every day, I think it's important to just keep doing that. I know that's kind of off topic from how do you become a syndicator. Find good partners.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, you're just every day you're chipping away.
Everybody thinks it's a secret pill. It's not a secret pill. It's just work and finding good people and not being lazy. The worst partners are lazy. That is the worst individual you could ever get on your team. Doesn't mean they're, bad passive investors. Maybe they made $100 million and now they're like, I'm going to be lazy for the rest of my life. I understand what risk is. I understand that you guys know what you're doing. That's fine.
That's a great passive partner.
That's a great passive partner. But as an active partner, and as you're getting into syndication, you got to have a team. Mm-hmm. there's just so much going on. I mean, you will work 18 hours a day if you're putting together a syndication deal, doing it right and doing it from acquisition to raising the capital to setting up all the portals, talking to syndication attorneys. I mean, sending out distributions, investor relations. I mean, there's a lot. Management company who's asset managing it. There's just so many things. So
last week for the book of the week that we did, I had Who Not How. And that's like everything you're saying.
Favorite book
is like just blowing this book up. But yeah, it's basically, it sounds like that's like your mantra. It's just like who not how type thing.
Yeah,
that's great.
Don't tell my partners that because they're like, okay, now I get you.
Well, no, because even in the book, Ben Hardy talks about how he and Dan Sullivan are each other's who's
that's
because
correct.
they have their own strengths.
That
like
is
what you're
correct.
saying. So there really is a lot to that mentality, and I think you have really embraced it, and it's gotten you where you're at now.
All right, man. So one thing I definitely want to ask you is, how do you grow from, and even 100 units sounds crazy, right? Like,
yeah, that sounds insane.
Like, how do you go from 100 units to 1,600? But no, like if you had a secret sauce to go from, that starting point, right? And it's crazy because it's not a starting point, but to take it to that level where you're at now, what would it be? What's the secret sauce?
Yeah, the sauce isn't too secret. It's just work. But I mean, the way I structure my day, and we're going to go back to that, is waking up early, exercising, listening to podcasts. I journaled. And in this journal, I made sure that I accomplished one item, one task that pushed me forward. That wasn't listening to a podcast. The podcast didn't push me forward. That was just, some information that I did. I met with somebody like a lender, like a real estate agent that showed me a property that we built a relationship. I think it's huge to do those things. So read the book, Millionaire Real Estate Investor. They talk about starting meetups, Brandon Turner's books. Do every single thing in there and fail at them. Yeah. Just fail at them and do it every day. But you cannot take a day off is the secret sauce to begin with. And I know it's kind of uncomfortable because there's lots of people that I know that are successful wholesalers that kind of do it on the side, et cetera. I mean, my goals are almost scary of where I want to go. I mean, I want to be well over $1 billion in real estate in 3 to 5 years.
I mean, that's what, like next year.
Well, where are you at now in real estate? How much have you guys done?
We're at about 100 to 110 million. Well, next
Collin,
week we'll be at 110.
I read a post like last week that you were like at 50 million. What the hell? That's
what happened?
I know.
I love it.
Yeah. We'll go back down. We'll sell some stuff. But now, 110 million. We have another 30, and then we have LOIs and contracts out for quite a bit more. And then we're looking at building a large development, which we're pretty far in the process. That could be a $30 million development. The secret sauce is, how do you find something you can enjoy every day that provides value to you and those people around you? That's the secret sauce, man. Like, I love my team. I love being here. Like, this is fun. This is like the best day ever. That's the secret sauce. So if you're getting into real estate and you're just like, man, I see all these people wholesaling deals, I need to make $10,000. That's not a secret sauce. That doesn't mean you can't do it, but it's not sustainable. You need to find something that you just love, whatever it is. Real estate is one of the best vehicles, though. So if you want to get in real estate and you don't like the activity or being in the property management side, I think it's also still important to own real estate and have somebody else manage it. Secret sauce is doing what you love and being passionate about it. I know it's not going write 1,000 letters.
Yeah, right.
Well, I want to get the math on, right? So you're at about 110 million in real estate. And you started in 2017? Like
April 24th, 2017 is when I closed my first threeplex.
Wow.
When has been moments where that hits you, Collin?
Does it ever hit you that
back? Because and one thing I was talking off camera was that I love how humble you are. And as soon as we got here, which it's crazy because even over social media, like the conversations we've had it's been amazing. But getting here, you feel the vibes, right? The energy. So definitely, I just want to tell you that you're this humble dude, man, that is doing amazing things. And I would say you have to be humble, right? Like you definitely have to be humble to be where you're at right now.
Don't ask my wife that. She might disagree.
Where's she at? She here? Call her up.
But and even to go above that, the way that I know you're a go-getter is even the situation we're in right now, where we're at your home, which is amazing. It worked out even better. But your kids are here. You're being, it's your weekend. And I said it like if you have a baby mama or something. It's your weekend. Your wife is out of town, but I love how that just proves you're a go-getter, because you were just like, oh, that day, okay, cool, I'll make it work.
Just make it work.
You're like, my kids or my mom is here, like I'll figure it out. Like, and it's like little things, right? Like, but you deserve your roses, right? So cheers to that, man. I just wanted to tell you that.
Salute.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess adding on to that, I find lots of people, and I start getting myself in this funk. And I think when I was becoming not where I was wanting to get, before I got into real estate, and like the I want to do this mentality, but always make an excuse because something's coming up. Stop making excuses. Like, dude, I was even thinking to myself. So honestly, I'm like, dude, my son has wrestling practice today. I'm like, kids, mom. I'm like, I almost text you guys. I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can do this. And that happens all the time. If you can just figure out a solution, man, dude, that's a sauce. That is a sauce. Just whatever there's a problem, figure it out. And Grant Cardone, he's kind of all over the place, but I freaking like that guy.
Every time people bring him up, I love it.
Grant Cardone of Lincoln or of Omaha.
And the fact that in the fact that he said, you take responsibility for everything. He's like, if you're in a car accident or you're late to work, whose fault is that? Like, that's your fault. Yeah. Take total accountability of your life. If you wake up late, if your kids keep you up late, like I still make these excuses all the time. Why I didn't work out, why I didn't do this. Dude, that's on me. Yeah. 100% that's on me. And that's on everybody. So you start taking accountability and you just kind of just go through it.
He sounds like more like Omaha's Jocko Willink.
Yeah. to add on to that,
you guys want to go do fucking 100 burpees? I'll do it right now.
Dude, to add on to that, you know what's crazy, Collin? While I was in El Salvador, there was this concrete job that we were doing, and my text for the address for my crew, for my guys, did not go through. So I got that exclamation point or whatever it is. And finally, and I let it go because I'm like, oh, okay, I texted the address that my guy wanted, right? So, like an hour later, I look on my phone and I noticed the exclamation point. I'm like, oh my God. So I called him and he's like, I'm already in the job that we have in Omaha. I'm like, oh God. So when I got with my client, it was like, it's my fault.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's one of those things where it's like, is it my fault? I don't give a shit, right? Like I'm the owner of this company, so I'm taking fault. So I love like that. That's an amazing.
Yeah. Dude, you can blame it on anybody. You can blame it on the receptionist. You can blame it on whoever.
The cell phone company.
You can blame it on the traffic. You can blame it on whatever. 100%. Everything comes down to your actions if you're the leader. Exactly. You could have planned for it, and some of them are more forgivable. Some of them aren't. Yeah. It's just, that is one of the best things. And that's what I learned from Hy-Vee too, besides Grant Cardone, my former store director. He was just like, everything that happens here is because of you. You're a leader, you lead, even if it's not your area. Yeah. You should have that sight. Yeah. I remember I went into his office one day. He was pissed at everybody. And I go to him, I'm like, boss, I am so sorry that this happened. He's like, that's not your area. But that is your area, and I fucking appreciate it. And I fucking appreciate you actually taking accountability for it, because it's true.
You don't find that. I mean,
because you spend so much time pointing fingers. That's what everybody is. Do you point the finger at yourself, and that's a real quick solution? Don't do that again and figure out a solution.
Yeah. No, I love that. And as much as I hate to wrap this up, man, like, and if you don't mind off camera, I'll stay at the lake here. And, I'll be a creeper. I'll be a creeper.
Dude, go take the jet ski out.
There you go.
Are you gonna start your questions now?
Was that?
Are you gonna start your questions? No. Before the question.
Go ahead.
Yep. Because he has like a set of questions that he asks every guest. But
you guys didn't provide them to me before.
Nope.
Raw. What's your favorite real estate book?
No condom. Sorry.
Jesus. Haven't been that right.
Collin's like, can we please not air this episode?
I'm saying it too.
Can we call his wife up again?
Yeah, no shit. She would not be surprised. Just FYI.
Well, because I know he wants to get into his questions, and I'm genuinely curious because I feel like, well, no, it's a fact that you are the most successful person we've had on the podcast to this point. And so we're very humbled and in terms of financial, like what you've done in terms of real estate is what I mean.
And how fast.
And how quickly you've done it. And so, so we are very just grateful that, we're here. And so, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart too, because I feel very honored being here.
For sure.
And it's hard to ask this because I don't know, and I know you have an answer, but like, where do you go next? Like, what do you have? You have these businesses and stuff coming up, but like, how do you set goals when you're just like this successful?
Killing it.
So that's a good question. I mean, I think this goal question gets lost sometimes. It's lost of, in dollars and this and that. So as I said, I have a business coach, and it's a coaching group that I go through, involved with another mastermind. My team and I, we recently started doing basically a form of traction called Growth Guru, and we meet quarterly, and that's where we set our goals. But in that is what we're going to do for the next quarter, and we look at 1 to 3 5-year plans. And we start planning those out on what we're going to do financially. But a big thing of it is what we're going to do for our family. So I'm going to segue here because this topic. You guys were talking about crying before this. We did this exercise. This is a couple weeks ago with a coaching group, and it's basically preparing for what happens when you're gone. Mm-hmm. And it helps reset yourself to what your goals should be. So what you're doing during this exercise, it's an important exercise. It's not even an exercise. It's something that you're doing to help your family out. You're writing letters to your family as if you're gone. You're giving them all your
chills, bro.
But guys, you are, and this is what we had to do, and in front of a group of grown men, we're just all like teary-eyed, which I'm not gonna fucking do it again. So fuck you guys.
But Dan, are you crying again?
No, dude, that's it, dude.
I'm sorry, Collin.
No, but you're writing from like where you're from.
Right, yeah.
You're writing things of like, hey, this is the advice I'm giving to you. Like,
wow.
But also like, not even advice, not like,
just
be an engineer. It's more like, hey, these are the people you're going to talk to. These are the bank accounts you're going to go to. This is where you're going to go. So doing that exercise helps create a goal from where you want to be.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's like the secret sauce right there, man.
Man.
So now I see why.
So if you want to feel like something real, go and do that. And I have, it's like a 30, 40 point formula of like how to do that. But yeah,
is that something like, if you don't mind emailing me that, like, or,
I can possibly, I don't know if
and I don't know,
maybe proprietary,
or if you let me know where to hit this group up.
Of course,
bro, you can write me a letter whenever you want, man.
Yeah,
right. Don't worry about it.
Dan's gone.
I wrote you one while I was on the beach rolling around.
No, but going back to where your goal is, like, I mean, if you look at it, there's so many different things, and like, my thing is, if I can write that letter and be in a good spot, like my kids, my family, in a great spot. Mm-hmm. Do I want to be worth $1 billion? Yes, that is absolutely. Does $1 billion mean anything in 50 years if the dollar is evaluated? It's a poor goal. Mm-hmm. So how do you figure out a way to make a difference for your family going forward that can continue to make differences? Mm-hmm. That's the biggest goal. This is fun though. I want to keep drinking fucking Take Sevens and hang out all day. This is what I want to do every day.
To that, Collin,
this is what I want to do every day.
There's an image, and I'll say it now. It's gonna be part of my book. That while I was in El Salvador, my grandma was on her bed. She had surgery. She's always been skinny all her life, but just seeing her on her bed, and here I am giving her money, right, from my mom, my sister, me, all together. And that image stuck to me forever, where it's like, money ain't shit, right? But it's the freedom that comes with it, right? Like the freedom of me, thank God for the freedom that I have, that we were able to get her surgery done. You know what I mean? But that image always stuck to me. I was telling Dan that, so I wasn't going to share that moment here, but we're over here crying.
That's good though. That's deep, because like, honestly, like what I love about your answer is that I was totally kind of obviously like on the financial side of that thing. And you're like, dude, that shit doesn't matter. What matters is what legacy you're leaving behind for your kids. And for both of us, you know, with the way we were brought up, that's been huge for us. And for me, like, that's always been such a big thing, is leaving a legacy behind. And I think once you kind of start getting into real estate investing, or you have the right mindset in terms of money, you realize it's only as valuable as whatever type of value we give it. But not just that, but like, it's a tool. It is not really, it's nothing more than a tool. And it's almost like not even real in terms of, you know. And so like, I've realized that as I've gone deeper into this journey, that money, I don't want to say it's not real, because it's very real, and it can, you know, people can die if they don't have enough of it. But if you change your mindset on it, you realize how much it's just a tool. And I think that's kind of probably how you think about things. And the real things that are really important in life are so much different than dollars and cents.
Exactly.
So,
and
awesome.
That's where you are, man. Like that's what's, and like I said, on our show, man, we like to give roses. So if I get a little too touchy with you, don't. No. we like to give them roses, because we should have brought a dozen roses.
That's too much. That's too much.
is that too much? You said a shirt,
dude. It's me, my wife's anniversary tomorrow. You fucking said it was mine, asshole.
There you go. Yeah. You know what? But you probably hire a guy to come bring you the roses.
There you go.
And just to finish that, and fuck, this is great. I mean, money is super important, but it's all based. You're going to produce money based on what you're passionate about and the value you're providing to people. Like that's as simple as that. Like you only need so much of it, and you get more of it because you're continually providing value to people.
Man,
like, bang. So I don't know. Love you guys.
Hey, same here, man.
Awesome, man.
And to wrap things up, Collin, we usually ask, and again, I wish we could continue this on, but I know you're daddy duty and stuff. But to wrap things up, we ask the guests the same questions every week, and or however whenever we record our podcast. And the first question I have for you is, I don't know. He said, "I'm done." No, but and we like to leave our listeners. We have a lot of listeners that haven't maybe made the jump and stuff like that. If you had to look back at your younger self, what would be some advice that you would give yourself now, where you're at, looking at your younger self that hadn't done anything?
Don't waste time.
Thank you.
Educate yourself. Spend your free time reading financial business literacy, and going out and joining networking groups. Even if you think that they are way out of your league or you don't know anything about them, I would go to every single one. I'd just be a fly on the wall and listen to them, and educate yourself every day.
I love it. And then the next question is, we have the dog back here. We like it raw. All right. But the next question I have for you. Can you say that louder, please?
This is gonna be the hardest explicit.
I said doggy style. It's a Labrador back there. Hey, this is our style. It's doggy style.
It's your dog, dude. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Should we do that? Like, if we start a podcast, that should be the name of it. Raw doggy style with Collin Schwartz.
And the other question that I had for you was, if you were to write a book, what would be the theme and the title of it?
You don't have to give the title. I always give people that disclosure.
No, I want the title for this one.
I know, but I literally
I
had a week talking about it, and I've got it written down. So we are going to write a book, but then I have another book. So Infinite Returns is the book that we are going to publish. Oh
my God, are you giving us like insight right now?
Well, he's been giving us insight for an hour.
The whole podcast.
30 minutes. So Infinite Returns, but I have another one, which is...
Can I pre-order, and can you deliver it to my house?
In 2 years.
Absolutely. 2 years. I've got another really good one I don't even want to tell you, because it's like 30 minutes of talking about it, and I got to explain.
Right.
It's so fucking
Infinite
good.
Returns.
Yeah, and what's that one about then?
It's about personal growth and like making connections with people on like a very intimate level instantly. And
so you're in development of this book already, or is it just an idea? Or
Infinite Returns is It's through a couple rough drafts. So there's 200 pages written.
Wow.
The other one, oh, dude, I'm so excited for it.
What can you give us about the other one? You can't just do that.
Dude,
you can't just raw us and then
raw us. I get it, dude.
I already told you. How
about off camera?
Here's the deal. Yeah, but honestly, I don't care because like anybody like, so this goes back to the fear factor of like, hey, scarcity mindset, you're going to steal a deal. Right, I'll tell you whatever it is, but if I say it, then I'm going to feel like I accomplished it. And that's why I'm not saying it.
I see. Yeah.
Like it's that like, I need to do the work.
For yourself. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Otherwise,
how about we leave that for the next episode?
Okay, perfect.
Because I would love to have you back
we'll catch up
next week when you're at 200 or 200 million. Or actually, how about this, Collin? When you hit the $1 billion, because I know you will. When you hit the $1 billion, can we please like get you on our podcast?
Yeah, we'll just
sounds good.
We'll have you and Grant Cardone.
There you go.
Right next to each other.
The last question I have for you, Collin, is if there was a 3-step formula to success, what are the 3 steps?
Well, it's a really hard question, but I would say, so the 3-step formula is focus on your health, and your health is more than just eating salads. It's getting out, exercising. You don't need to be jacked. You don't need to do anything, but you want to get healthy. You need to educate yourself, meaning that it's not saying go and get a degree from Harvard. It's meaning that you're learning what you want to learn, and things that interest you, because that's where you're going to provide most value. The third one, I don't know. What do you guys have for a third one?
Based off of what you've been saying, I feel like you've been super consistent. Mm-hmm. Like that's like the word that just kind of
action /action.
Yeah,
consistency /action.
See that's what I love. That's why I have you guys here. So yeah,
is that the only reason why you had us here? To answer our own question?
No, but that's great. I think that's definitely accurate to the theme that we had so far.
Sure. Yeah, and not to like a militaristic standard, but gosh, if you can get up and do something every day over and over and over and over and over again, you will be so much better. So yeah, consistency. Thanks for giving me my last answer.
No, I love it, man. I love that.
Thanks,
and then, and usually before we wrap it up, you said you had some questions for us. If you don't like, or me, rapper, I'm a rapper. Do you want to rap? Do you want me to sign you? I mean, that's the last thing you need right now out of your whole list.
Well, no,
Collin the Stallion. I don't know. I brought your record deal in my truck to already have it written up. So,
gosh, I've got a lot of questions. So I can't go into all of them.
That's right. We can do it off air.
Ask a couple. Go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, as far as rapping, how'd you get started in it, and then what brought you over to real estate? But more importantly, like, what is the like passion with your with your rapping? Like, how are you? It's just I have not been interviewed by many rappers, and your shit is good. So,
thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, I appreciate it. I think definitely at the beginning it was getting out of poverty, right? Like, and but even before that, actually, man, this goal flows. Like this whole show has like, so while I was in El Salvador, I had kids that I went to school with. Obviously now we're older or whatever, and they told me, hey, do you remember when I used to, like, there was a fence and me and you used to stand in with each other with all the kids, and like we used to sing, dance, like, and even my neighbor, I told Dan that he's like, hey, I was just, and it's crazy, Collin, because this is like in the middle of nowhere, but they do have, I was telling him, running water and all that.
Not when you were there.
But he was like, hey, I was just listening to your songs. I heard one in Spanish and English a week ago. So it's stuff like that I'm like, wow, like this is amazing. Yeah. And so for sure it was always, and we were talking about it on the way here. I told Dan, and I was like, bro, I just like to create. I really do. I just like to create, whether it's music, whatever. Like I love creating content like that. I've always wanted to be like an actor or whatever, like something with creation. But the more I got, and this was me being a kid, right? But the more I got into it was more of how can my music, if my music can change somebody's life, then I'm going to do it. And that, and, you know, and there's so many people that relate to me. Even I get messages all the time on Instagram, like, hey, I see you're doing big things. How do I get started? I'm, you know, single family home. And it reminds you of me, because it's like, man, that was me, you know, that's me actually, that was, but so yeah, it became, obviously it's always been a passion, but then, when I saw that I could probably maybe make some money off of it, it was like, and so I started selling my CDs. I used to have a little van that was wrapped with my name on it and stuff. I used to ride around, you know, Nebraska area or cities, and then Denver, you know, or the whole Colorado area. So just the Midwest itself. And nowadays it's easy with the internet. So now I'm having people listen to me in El Salvador that, cool, man, you know, so
wider reach now.
So like, how do you learn how to rap? I remember like going up to Crisscross, and I was like,
Crisscross.
and then I'm like, I got Bone Thugs and Harmony bumping in my car, and I'm like,
man.
I'm like,
Collin, Jesus, now I like you more.
Just how old are you?
33.
Okay, so 36. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, you know, I've got NWA,
Same,
I've got all that, like, just
Yeah.
you know, I'm just listening to all that. What gave you the inspiration? How did you like get the confidence to like actually like go out and just like just like get it to like a point of like, we all rap as kids. Like,
Right.
My beautiful redheaded son Thomas is out there rapping.
To this day, I think I'm still trash, and I always kept that in my head. No matter whatever I do, not just rap, but whatever I do, I'm always like, no, that's trash. We got to do better. Even the podcast, right? Like, we're getting better as we go.
You're talking about my podcast here.
Dad's like, no,
I put a lot of work into this.
The podcast is bad.
It's trash. No, but I think if you keep that mentality of growth, I think that's really what did it. But even before then, I used to write poems, but learning how to write a song is what did it for me. And then it's that 10,000 hours. You know, I did my 10,000 hours of writing and recording and the whole aspect of it. And so now it's like, I'll say it on the podcast, like, I know my level, right? Like, you definitely want to know where you're at, but you also want to know where you're heading. Mm-hmm. And so I know my level, but I also feel like I'm one song away from just taking over.
Okay. That's awesome.
Like,
so
I might have
awesome.
it recorded already. Like, I don't know. That's how I feel. Like, just because you get better, that growth, right?
Mm-hmm. What do you think it's crazy because it's, you know, there's the who, not how, but it's also, you got to have the talent and work your ass off. So what's going to get that song? I mean, because here's the deal, and I know nothing about record labels or whatever, but I just know anytime I bring like an investment or whatever, it just gets molded into something else. So, you know, are you looking at somebody to mold it, or
yes,
like
you know
what I'm saying, Collin, right?
So you know what's crazy about that? I've even talked to Dan I talked to everybody about this. It's crazy because and it's stupid. It's one of those where I know what needs to be done. I'm just like not doing it. Right.
I have a specific example that I will not bring up.
Yeah,
I have one too.
and so it's one of those where it's. And I told you that.
He's gonna fucking do it. Yeah,
it's one of those where it's, you know where it's at is putting money behind the marketing. That's all it is. That's literally the secret sauce to where I'm missing. For example, the album
is it your money or is it somebody else's money? So that's what I'm asking.
It's my money. So
why does it have to be? Or is that what makes you worried?
Exactly.
Why?
I don't know.
If only you had a new stream of income that could pay for that.
No, but what's crazy? Yeah, exactly. But what's crazy, Collin, is that even,
I say that because
like,
we're working on something. Right?
Yeah. But what's crazy is that, I don't want to sound like that, but the money's there. Is just like, do I like how this has worked? Because a lot of it has been natural.
You're scared to lose your money.
No.
A
lot of it has been natural. So it's one of those where, maybe, you know what?
Otherwise, you would spend it.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's that
if
fear
you
factor,
put $1 out and you got $1 back, would you care?
Right, exactly. So I have this album, Collin, that's called From Struggles to Success, and I've had it for years now. I feel like I told you, I have a song already. I don't know which one, but it's already recorded. That's going to hit, right? Or an album or a project. But lately it's more like, you know what? I'm going to take my time. When I started, it was more like, okay, I'm going to record. So I recorded, there was times in a year that I would drop 3 albums that year. And don't get me wrong, it's paying off now, right? Like I'm getting my little royalties, you know, from an album that I recorded in 2011. Or actually, I just got my album back that we talked about in 2006. Now I own that master again. But anyways, it's more like that factor of like, okay, which song is it or which project is it? Which I think the From Struggles to Success album is it. And then I just need to put the money behind it. That's all it is. But I'm very confident that's all it's going to take is just doing that. Because if you actually, man, if you don't mind,
dude,
come over and check out.
We got Bluetooth here. Like I'm dead serious.
Let's do it. I'll show you a few songs. All right, I'll show you a few songs.
Oh, man.
Dan always asks, "Are we done with my interview?" Or
Yeah, if you do. You know what I'll do? I'll make this to a bonus episode.
There you go.
So like his portion, because we want it to be about you. I don't want to focus on you.
Right.
Like as much as I love
Just
it.
FYI.
But like,
man, I don't know.
I'll make it a bonus. I'll make it a bonus.
say that every time. And
No,
then
'cause
part 1, part 2, and then whatever.
I think
we'll
it'll be
see.
a good, I'll release it the same day. It's a good bonus episode.
We'll
Just
see.
know I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
No.
we'll see.
But
he always
I
asks,
only do this
you're-
stuff like good conversations.
if
Like
you're,
I literally give
and that's what we
two
want.
fucks.
We want
I
good
don't
conversation.
give a fuck.
Colin,
Like
this has
anytime
been amazing.
Yeah, dude, this has been awesome.
Mindset,
I texted my wife on the break. I'm like, this has been so good. I'm like, she's like, I never hear about
You
it.
didn't text me. That's
You text me. I thought I was
Shout
your
out to
wife.
Stephanie.
I thought that was your wife.
Your wife shut up. I love it, bro. I
Yeah.
love that. But Dan usually asks one
Well, unless
question.
you're done
too.
with questions, and then we get to the
Yeah.
freestyle.
Oh shit.
But so I like to ask, you know, you're doing such big things right now. What can someone who's listening out, because we don't know who are actually, real quick, before I say that, I did analytics on our podcast just the other day, and 51% of our listeners are women. I love that. That's awesome. That's over half. I'm like, it's literally over half of our listeners are women. So I think
1%, I love that.
I think that's awesome. So
Yeah.
I just want to give a big shout out to all the women who listen to
That
this.
is awesome.
That's great. Because it's not, they're very much the minority in this business.
My YouTube's under female.
Is it under?
I said it's under female. I'm just like, all right, go
No,
ahead.
but like, no, I'm talking about the audio
that's
portion
amazing.
of it. So
Yeah,
that's great. So if any of those 51% of the women or 49% of men are listening to it, what can someone bring to you right now that would be of value to your business?
Well, I was just thinking when you're talking about females and investing, I think it is, you know, I mean, it's been a male-dominated sport, but Sonia Macias, she's in town. She has an Invest Her Omaha meetup. Highly recommended. Like,
Cool.
just don't put those limiting beliefs. And what could somebody provide? That's a good question. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to come work for the team, then you have like this, like, I'm going to do everything attitude. If you want to learn, come to the meetup. So Omaha Real Estate Meetup, we typically meet every 4th Wednesday at Site One Brewing. That certainly could change, but right now, Site One Brewing, it's a great spot. We have some great speakers there. And then the next thing is just get involved. I mean, go to Omaha Real Estate Meetup at Facebook. This is not a group of trying to make money, but there's a lot of resources there. And just get involved with everybody in town. I just love doing this. So the more we can do, the more we can do.
If people had questions, where can they find you on social media?
I
just found you on Instagram. You know that, right?
Yeah,
I just added you.
I know.
And we've been friends everywhere else, but Instagram. So that's my biggest, like, that's where I do my stuff.
Yeah. So apparently Instagram's for people younger than me, 36. So it's Facebook.
All these millennials like
MySpace.
Yeah.
He's on MySpace.
Are you still on MySpace, Colin?
No, hey, come on, man.
Is that the secret sauce?
Dude, I've got Bone Thugs and Harmony playing on my MySpace background. So I still got my top 12.
Love it.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Facebook, email me. I mean, Colin at Bricktown Management. I'm on Instagram. You message anything and happy to reach out.
I'll find the links and put them on
I would just ask if anybody
We'll throw them on there for sure.
Yeah, I would just ask if anybody sends a message, just like have a specific request. Like, I don't care if you say, hey, Colin, I need help with this. Not just like, hey, I want to pick your brain, looking to connect. I don't know where to go with that because I get so many of those messages and I don't have
specific.
You know
I
what?
don't have hours a week.
I've been trying to find an organic way
Like
to
when
bring
I
this.
message, I was like, "Do you want to buy a shirt?"
Yeah, and I was like, and it was easy. It was yes. It was
I was
easy.
just playing.
Delivery.
Delivery in 2 years or less.
It was yes. He's like, But his first question was like, will you dissect my rap music? And I was just like, and I just gave up. It was too much.
I'm gonna
for me
have to screenshot our conversation. It did not go like that.
No, but I have been wanting to bring it up because you probably don't remember, because I'm sure you get a lot of like messages and stuff. But like, after you were on Bigger Pockets, that was, how long ago was that? Like a year and a half.
And actually, real quick,
it was
if you guys
2018.
if you guys listen to Bigger Pockets, make sure you guys check this.
What
dude
do you know what
Like, if
episode
you
it was?
haven't-
318.
Episode 318.
If
I
you
wish I
haven't-
didn't know that.
No, that's awesome, dude. That's a huge. That's my dream.
Dude, that's a milestone.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
huge.
you
If
have to
only
know
like
that.
anybody else could be on Bigger Pockets at any point in the future, that'd be great, right, Billy? Anyway,
We'll talk about it in another
so
episode.
episode 318 is what you're on, and at whatever point I listened to it, because I did the same thing as you. Is when I got into it, I've been into it like going on 3 years now, in terms of the real estate stuff. But I heard your episode, and I remember I messaged you on the Bigger Pockets, and you probably don't remember, and it's okay. I'm not hurt.
You're
But
such a
like,
creeper,
dude, I
Dan.
messaged him. I was like, because for me, I hadn't even done like my first campaign of mailers or anything yet. And I was like, damn, dude, like this is
That
awesome. Like
story,
it's a local guy that I can like see how like, and at that point you were like nowhere where you're at now, but you were just doing it big enough to where you could be on Bigger Pockets. And I messaged you and I was like, dude, I have like nothing really to offer or say or anything. Like, I just think it's super cool that you have like a local guy that's doing it. And I think I put a little plug in there because I have my video production. So it's like, if you ever need anything in there, let me know.
There we go.
No, but you
There
were
we
cool
go.
about it. You're like, yeah, man, like, you know, I think you even told me like, if you're up in Omaha, let me know. We can grab some coffee. And the humility of that message to me was like so impactful. And I honestly, you know, we obviously talk to a lot of successful people in what we're doing. And I think that the most admirable thing that I can notice in people is humility. And so I just want to thank you for actually even taking the time, because you said you had
Seriously.
4,900 messages or something, like some crazy amount of emails right now, you know?
90,000.
Whatever, 90,000, no big deal.
Seriously.
But like that was huge to me. So I think I want to do that too when I'm at that level, and make sure that I pay attention to when people are reaching out for those little things. So I think that you might not realize it, but that was impactful.
Yeah, no, and it changes people's perspective.
For sure.
Like I said, my thing is somebody asks a question like music related, real estate related, like it's literally like the first thing I do, because it's like, man, like it goes back to what you said earlier, where it's like I have these people's 50,000 in my pocket, which, you know, I don't, but I feel like it. If that makes sense, like, man, this person's asking me, how do I invest my 20 grand that I have? So anyways, we want to thank you for that, Collin.
Yeah, man.
This
It's been
episode
great.
has been amazing. I wish we didn't have to go, but your kids are
We'll
there.
do some
and
off-air
fucking
freestyle.
love it.
Yeah.
man.
So make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, The Minority Report Podcast, and then follow us on Instagram, The Minority
Wait,
Report
you just
Podcast.
did it. You just did it backwards.
Did I? Whatever. Just follow us. Let's get it.
Dude, you know by now.
We'll figure it out. Bada-ba-bang.
We'll end it with that.
My hand to please don't segregate. Dressed in a suit, I can't relate. Minority report, can't ignore. Being rich from poor and your credit score. My hand to please don't segregate. Dressed in a suit, I can't relate. Minority report, can't ignore. Being rich from poor and your credit score.